Turnium Technologies is a provider of proprietary managed communications and security services, including its SD-WAN solutions for the communications data center and corporate markets. The company recently completed a transformational acquisition of Claratti to provide a more comprehensive suite of managed services. CEO Doug Childress and Chairman Ralph Garcea are here to explain the numerous synergies and growth initiatives to drive Turnium's next phase of growth. I'm Martin Gagel with Market Radius Research. It's Tuesday, September the 10th. Please remember, this is neither a recommendation nor investment advice. We're here to learn about the company. Doug and Ralph, thank you very much for taking the time to join us. We're really spanning the globe here. Doug is based out of Perth, Australia. Ralph's in Toronto, and I'm here in Vancouver. So we've got lots of time zones happening. And while we start this off, why don't you just introduce yourselves and a bit of your backgrounds before we get into Turnium technology?
I would love to do that. Thanks for hosting us today, Martin. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, depending where you're joining us from. I'm Ralph Garcea, chairman of Turnium Technology Group. Aerospace engineer by training, ran a software company in the early 90s out of Michigan. Came back and was a sell-side analyst for 23 plus years. Went off on my own in 2018 and started Focus Merchant Group. Got originally involved with Turnium pre-RTO stage about 4 years ago. Initially as a director, and again became chairman almost 2 years ago. We went public on the RTO in June of 2022. Started talking with Doug almost 2 years ago on the possibility of merging the two companies. We finally got the deal done, closed it on August 22nd, a few weeks ago. And really looking forward and working with Doug and growing this company. I think there's an opportunity here to grow organically and double year over year for the next few years as we merge the two companies. And there's an unbelievable cross-sell opportunity into our respective customer bases. And with that, I'll hand it over to Doug.
Thank you so much, Ralph. It's a really a great pleasure to be here today. And as Ralph said, we're touching multiple parts of the globe tonight. This morning, wherever you may be. My background, I really want to focus before we jump into the presentation. I've been in technology, I tell most people, since a little kid. I've loved taking things apart, putting it back together, and just figuring out how stuff works. But the love of IT has been in me since a very young age. So I've been in this career now 38 years. I've seen technology before the internet, before email, from the absolute grassroots 38 years ago when we didn't even know what we would even have today. So the experience that I've gained along the way has given me the clout to be able to speak to this presentation tonight. One of the things that I've really enjoyed about getting to know Ralph and the team at Turnium is the synergistic benefits that we share together. And I think as we go through this slide deck, please bear one thing in mind. I am the CEO, but I used to carry a tool bag many years ago. And the thing that sets me apart from all other CEOs in the tech space is I am fearless when it comes to technology. If there's a problem that IT can solve, we'll be there to do it. So with that said, I'd like to go ahead and just jump into the presentation, take you through a little journey just so you get a good understanding of Turnium as a whole and how we've kind of come together and how this makes sense to all of us inside of the organization. So Turnium SD-WAN, oftentimes I use the analogy like holding up your hand, and these little red and green and gray lines are like fingers going to the internet. What I loved about Turnium's SD-WAN product is, first off, they send traffic over multiple links, but it looks like one connection. Why that's important? Because if one of those legs goes down, the other two are there transparently. So that allows traffic in the world of, let's say you were a small retail firm and you need that FPOS machine or that telephone system to work, those types of things will continue to work even if you lose a particular service. Even if we start putting in things like Starlink and fixed wireless and broadband and things like that. So Turnium's SD-WAN product really caught my attention. And as you'll see in the next couple of slides, they bring in a service from the top down. Now, before we get into Claratti, I want to also give mention to Tenacious Networks, which was another acquisition that Turnium did. And this was an acquisition that was really focused around the servers and the PCs, doing that on-site support, configuring devices and things like that. So now we can start seeing, this bottom ecosystem starting to form there. And Tenacious Networks has been around since 2009, based in Vancouver. They've got customers across Canada and North America. So we started to say, aha, there's a synergy right there, even before we start talking SD-WAN. But let's start looking at what Claratti brought to the table. Now, as a CEO, and I speak for this because I've been in the CEO position for 30 years. When a CEO of an organization typically makes a decision, the first place they go after making the decision is down to the IT department, just to make sure everything works, that they can deliver. When we set up Claratti, it was about, let's just take all of the unknowns. Let's get rid of that how long is a piece of string question that we typically get thrown back from IT. And let's deliver a holistic approach. So let's deliver technology as a service. Let's do the wireless access points, the cameras. Let's do the virtual workspace. And that virtual workspace product really opened us up and started allowing us to scale internationally. And the way I tell most people, what is virtual workspace? Well, go down to your local PC store, pick up a device, go to a URL, put in your username, password, and immediately your phone, all files, emails, everything that you had on the machine that just died is now on the brand new box a minute later. So that virtual workspace is now able to empower businesses to hire people anywhere in the world and just send them off and let them join their organization securely. So when you start looking at us now holistically, the Turnium Technology Group, what you see is we've built a fortress around the customer. And that fortress is that, well, first off, there's not a service in there that we don't provide. And as we get into the next slide, that'll start to crystallize a little bit more for you. Businesses today are looking for all of these things. Ransomware is one of the hottest topics in the world of IT. Identity access management. Who's got access to what? Privileged access management. For how long do people have access? We're running things in the cloud. Is it secure? Network security, dark web, secure SD-WAN. All of these things are relevant to every single customer. And when we look at the relevance, the why, what we're looking at is we've got every size business in every sector on the planet afraid of what's going to happen. And that fear factor in the middle used to be enterprise. It used to be the major big end of town that the guys were going after. Well, COVID changed that. And let me tell you how it changed it. All of a sudden, we sent our workforce home. Our workforce works on a home network that who knows if that's secure. Most of them are not. And now all of a sudden, instead of defending the office and the security in the office, we expose ourselves to all of these different points of attack. So the threat landscape is just broadened exponentially. And if you look at the cybersecurity industry, as it broadened when COVID hit and when everybody went home, cybersecurity went through the roof. and it's growing at an exponential rate at this time. And it is because of so many different holes out there and potential ways to get in. Well, what we say to our customers is this: we can give you secure connectivity through our secure SD-WAN product. We can give you a cybersecurity suite. We can give you 24/7 security operations center and help desk services, provide every piece of hardware, ensure it's patched, check for ransomware. If someone clicks on something, we'll use the AI to automatically train them to say, hey, by the way, you've just clicked on this. We'll quarantine it. We'll protect your files from leaving your organization or entering the organization so that we can stand back with confidence and we can say to the customer, let's get it done. And that it is IT, and it's everything to do with IT. So the model that we bring to the customer is not just about the what we do and the why we do it and the how we do it. But the number one thing that we do is we provide protection for the key decision makers. What we want to be able to do is when a decision is made by an executive in an organization such as myself, I can confidently make that decision. I may need to rely on my in-house IT, but if they don't have the skill set to do it, or maybe they've got a limitation or whatever the case may be, we want to go to them, build this trust relationship, and provide them with that confidence that we are of a fearless mindset. We give you global scale and connectivity, but the biggest thing that we're going to do is we're also going to not forget about the degree of impact. What if you get hacked? Well, that can have detrimental impact on your business. So we are all about protecting the key decision makers in a business. Now, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Ralph here and let him talk to the next couple of slides. Ralph, would you like to take over?
Just giving you a broad overview of Turnium Technology Group, TTGI. We're headquartered in Vancouver. Again, the RTO was in June of 2022, listed on both the Venture Exchange and Frankfurt. We started from the SD-WAN side of the business. We got a very competitive, secure product that we sell globally through a 70 plus channel partners and OEMs. On the Claratti side, again, what attracted us to Claratti was their technology as a service offering, both on the virtual workspace and the cyber security suite. Claritti's developed a pretty interesting AI platform for driving sales and marketing leads that will be able to leverage and again, increase the pipeline and funnel opportunities for the combined entity, whether it's SD-WAN, managed SD-WAN, Tenacious Networks business, and the underlying Claratti business on the cybersecurity side. And we brought the best of both worlds together. We were doing around 5.5–6 million Canadian revenue run rate. Claratti was doing around 5 million Canadian, so let's say 11 million Canadian run rate. We were cash flow positive coming out of May, June. Claratti will be coming out of September. So for the calendar Q4, we should be at an 11 million or so run rate in revenue Canadian, with 500K to $1 million in EBITDA. And I think the opportunity to grow organically, which is what we're showing here on the right hand side, we should be able to do 14–15 million in this fiscal year. We're a September year end, and grow to 20 million plus in the following year as we grow this opportunity between taking an SD-WAN customer and selling them the full suite of virtual workspace and cyber products, and then taking the Claratti customer base that was mainly running on MPLS lines and cross-selling the SD-WAN products into that customer base. So you've seen startups grow from 5 to 10 to 20 to 40 million in revenue organically. I think we've built that platform now to give us that opportunity to do that. And we'll supplement this with further acquisitions. Our ultimate goal, and Doug's discussed getting the base camp internally at our town hall meeting. is really to get to 100 million in revenue and 20 million in EBITDA over the next 2 to 3 years. Growing organically, like I just mentioned, through this unbelievable global cross-sell opportunity, and then supplementing that with further acquisitions.
And, you know, just to echo what Ralph has just said there, when we looked at Turnium in the very beginning, and we just said, you know, what do you generate revenue-wise on a per seat basis or per service basis? And their revenue is circa $33 a month per service. We looked at ours and we said we're circa 220. So, you know, a 253 or call it 250 client spend, that's a healthy monthly recurring revenue, especially when we looked at we can sell all of Turnium into our client base and vice versa. So the platform capabilities are there. The marketing engine, sales team, pre-sales, all of that. We're so complementary in how we work together. Now we're talking about taking a complementary platform, skills, and capability, blending that with a suite of technology products and services that a market is looking for. And if you take that on a conservative view and you look at a 6-time revenue opportunity, it is very believable. But let me show you another slide that just, if that doesn't echo the story, let me show you another one in just a second. Will. So take that opportunity, blend it with all of those products and services. And before we get to the how we're going to do it, the other thing that companies are looking for, not that they're looking for, but the insurance companies are starting to push people this way, is to make sure that they're compliant. When you take all of our products as a whole, as a client, we tick those boxes on the left. HEPA, ISO, you know, GDPR, all of these things are relevant topics that businesses are trying to figure out how are we going to achieve. So back to the 6X revenue, how are we going to get there? You look at Turnium's worldwide footprint in the gold markers, over 70 worldwide channel partners, 12,000 combined customer sites, 5,000 managed devices in the field, and they're looking to buy more products and services. What made me so excited about doing the deal with Turnium was they're selling one product. We sell an entire technology as a service suite. And each of these OEM partners that we're talking to, they're all keen to learn more information. How do we sell this? Can we sell the additional products and services? And the answer is absolutely. So the global reach, having the right product, having a market that's hungry for what we are doing, and a price point that is reasonable with that global scalability, they're ingredients for success, in my opinion. Now, I'd like to hand back over to Ralph just a second. He's got some real good insights on this slide. Ralph?
Again, being an analyst for 23 plus years and covering this space, we've seen this all before, whether it was in the mid to late 90s, the early 2000s around the tech boom. Canada is a great incubator of companies, software, hardware, across the spectrum of technology. And for whatever reasons, we're always undervalued. And at this point in time, on the SaaS side, you've seen it with these incredible companies that are here, and some that have disappeared through acquisitions. The bottom three, True Context, OneSoft, a lot of these guys were trading at 2-3 times revenue, and they're getting taken out at 4+. For great businesses that they've built, and they get to that scale size that whether private equity comes in and takes them private, or you get a strategic buyer, I think the opportunities are there. Both from our side as we build the business on the SD-WAN and cyber, to become attractive not only to private equity but to some larger SaaS players in the space. But our time is now. The merger closed August 22nd. I think at some point, the market will value us correctly. If you look at our SaaS business, 85% gross margins, We think we can grow that pretty, 30-40% growth rates on the SaaS side as we cross-sell into our respective customer bases. At some point, this valuation gap is going to close, and I think it's an interesting time here for investors on the call to start looking at our company post a merger, and we got to deliver. We're on a run rate now to deliver $1 million a month in revenue, and I think as we start cross-selling into our respective customer bases, you're just going to see that continue to grow. The other interesting thing is, if we go to the next slide, with the Claratti shareholders coming in, this deal was done 100% shares at 15 cents a share. We offered 40 million shares to acquire Claratti. As a result of that, Doug has become one of the largest shareholders. Combined, management and insiders are 22%, just over 22%. And then with some strategic investors, over 20, we're at a 43% combined insider and strategic ownership. We're all aligned at this opportunity that's been presented to us globally. The channel's built, the products are built, and now it's just a question of executing on the cross-sell opportunity and selling into this channel.
Gentlemen, that was an excellent overview on the company. The acquisition closed August 22nd, and can you what your fiscal year is? The end of August to the end of September?
September.
Okay, so at the end of your fiscal year end's gonna have just a little bit of clarity in it, and you'll have some noise with acquisition costs and so forth. So that'll be a bit of, call it, as us. I used to compete with Ralph on the sell side analyst side, so that was a noisy quarter, as we used to say. But the Q1 of, I guess, your fiscal 25, that's going to be fairly clean and I guess show the first steps of the synergies and the cross-selling opportunities.
Great point there. I mean, we'll only have 5.5 weeks in the September quarter, which is our Q4. And yeah, that December quarter, and I've mentioned this to Doug too, that's what we got to focus on, deliver that first quarter, set the expectations for the street, and at $1 million a month in revenue, I think we should be able to exit that December quarter with $3 million plus in revenue, and then just hopefully grow from there.
Doug, you're based out of Perth, Australia. Turnium's based out of Vancouver. Can you talk about your like the sort of physical or human resource organization? Is everything based out of Vancouver? Or is it a virtual organization with developers and help your implementation staff sort of spread out through the world, or in Australia? Can you sort of clarify what the company looks like?
Yeah, thank you, Martin. Great question. So the management team, the majority of the management team, I have 6 direct reports. 2 are based here in Perth, WA. The other 4 are based in Vancouver. Our development team is based in Halifax. The product development manager is based in Vancouver. We've got some network resources in South Africa, some in Sri Lanka, some in Manila. We've got sales resources in India, Pakistan, network guys on the ground all over Australia, and as well as in Vancouver. So we are literally, I think we're 40 some odd staff now, about 44, and spread around the globe. One of our sales reps is in Portugal.
With the merger of 2 companies, is there a lot of reorganization you have to do, or because they're, can call it, I guess, complementary services and technologies you provide, they mesh fairly easily, or is there a lot of rejigging within the combined company that you have to do now?
Look, another great question. I mean, when I sat down and looked at this, so we started this journey back at around the end of Feb, and it gave me a bit of time just to look at everything. And I was really impressed to find that, we're using very similar accounting systems, the back office. There's a lot of cost savings that can be had that'll drop straight through the bottom line, because we don't need 3 CRMs. And the migration that Tenacious is on, the system they're on. We just literally migrated last year. We migrated Claratti off that platform to what we run on. So look, I was surprised to find out that, probably in the course of 3 months, we'll have the entire business running on a single ERP system on the back end, single quoting system, streamlined, and, those cost savings that we're going to see is going to start dropping straight through to the bottom line. I would be reluctant to say how much that's going to be, but I'm holding that ace up my sleeve because I think we're going to be really impressed after the end of the first quarter to see what that is.
All right. The cost savings are a nice benefit, but I think, as Ralph was saying, or you've both been saying, the real synergies or rationale for this is in the cross-selling opportunities, selling the other services to the other clients, and just, I guess, going to new clients or leads with a more fulsome service offering. Can you talk about those cross-selling opportunities, what they look like, how much sort of value add they can provide, and just sort of flush that out?
Yeah, absolutely. Another really, really good question. So when I look at the Claratti, before we came together, for about 3 years ago, we only had one sales rep. That one sales rep was generating approximately $3 million a year in total contract value. Now that's the recurring over the term plus the setup charge. But top line revenue, about $1 million a year. That's one sales rep. Now that we've actually come together, what we've seen is this one sales rep has set a precedence for almost 4 years now. And she's really risen to the top to be a great leader in this company, really focused on how to sell the product, how to listen and bring, the customer, take that IT complexity and make IT solve the problem. She's now grown her team to a team of 8, now coming together with Turnium. And I said to her the other day, so what's the total contract value target for each person? And she looked at me and she said, what do you mean? It's $3 million per person. I said, great answer. Can I hold you to that? And she did. So look, we are going to push down the line at the same pace that we've always pushed because we know that one person can do it. We know that the track record is there. The cross-sell opportunity, it's not like we're trying to sell a product into a market that doesn't have an ear to listen. We're selling a product that has 100% relevance, using a sales team that knows how to listen to the customer and how to put complex solutions to simplify it and use IT to just let's get it done with the customer. So do I believe they'll be able to hit the 3 million TCV? Well, if you break it down, it's $150 a day in recurring revenue. To me, that's a pretty easy target for a sales rep hungry to succeed to be able to achieve.
So is all of the revenue SaaS-based, or is there a sort of an upfront implementation fee, or it's and development to customize each solution for each client? Just describe, sort of parse out those revenue pieces a bit, if you could.
Yeah, really good. So in that 3 mil, you'll probably get about 1.5 mil worth of once-off setup. Now, what we always try to do for the customer is we try to get rid of the once-off setup and roll it into a monthly recurring. There are still customers out there that are, they've got an approved budget. They need to spend it, either spend it or lose it. So I think there'll be a long time coming before we get to 100% SaaS model, but we are seeing the shift. So each year we're seeing that 1 to 1.5. That number is coming down and the monthly recurring is going up. The adoption, kind of the mindset for us is we want to be there for the long haul. So we want to be able to get a customer on board with us on a, at the end of a 3-year term, we're just going to refresh the equipment and we're going to keep going. we're on a journey with you. So if that customer really wants to adopt this, just take it as a subscription, let it be an OpEx cost rather than a CapEx cost, then we're there. We love it. That's the model that we promote, and we encourage customers to go down.
Just to add to that, Mark, on the margin side, as you build that SaaS business, because you're relying on the OEM channel, I mean, those SaaS margins on our end, they're using our software to run SD-WAN or to implement that cyber suite. The SD-WAN gross margins are 85%, 90% plus. On the cyber suite, depending which products they sign up for, is probably 80% gross margins. You go down to the managed services. If the client signs up for full managed services, you're looking at 40% plus gross margins. The hardware business, the one-offs are anywhere from 10 to 20% gross margin. But as you build that SaaS business, that's where you're going to get the EBITDA leverage in the outlying years that I showed earlier from the organic growth.
Technology, it's never standing still, that you always need to grow and put new services, there are new problems that need solving and so forth. Do you have a development pipeline or that you can talk about? What are areas that you're maybe not in right now that you want to get into or that you need to bolster to provide additional services or competitive advantages?
Yeah, this is an area that is kept pretty tight under wraps as far as, in the bowels of the company, let's say, in the R&D side of things. One of the things that I discovered early on coming into this with a technical background, I went to Halifax, I met the developers, and I just kind of introduced myself and sat back and listened. And at the end of the 2 days that I was there, I said, tell me what you want. What would you love to have if you could have? And they started describing some common things that, let's call it the bigger end of town, the Cisco Meraki's and some of the other larger vendors might have. And I'm thinking to myself, well, hang on a minute. There's no reason why we can't have those. And why don't we just have those things and then layer on top all of our cybersecurity? And let's tie that into this 24/7 NOC. Let's put that help desk, wrap all of that around it. And all of a sudden, when we start coming away, now this product is in alpha development right now. And I will bring this product to light between now and probably into the third quarter. A product that will compete with the largest end of town, and not just compete with them. It will blow them away as far as feature set. It will be more secure, have more interfaces, have more failover capability than any other product on the market. Now, why haven't we done that before now? Sometimes it just takes marrying the right technical person with the right idea to produce the right product. And that's where we are coming together as, we start to learn this dance with each other and all of these expertise that we have in the organization. And then you've got somebody like me that I think Ralph needs to throw a rope around me most days and harness me. I'm ready to go because there's no reason we can't use technology to solve these problems.
You mentioned earlier some artificial intelligence, and I believe you said in in your sales and marketing side of things. No tech interview is complete without a discussion on AI and how that's affecting things. So where is your AI technology being used, and how are you implementing it, and the benefits you see coming out of that?
This one I'm really excited about. So about 14 months ago, and this was back when we had one sales rep. So bear that in mind because it puts it into context there. Oftentimes I'd get a phone call and I'd say, could you jump, the sales rep would say, could you jump in this call with me? I need a little bit of technical help. And I started thinking about this and I was like, hang on a minute, AI technology is out there. And I found this company and my first question to them was, can you turn me into a bot? And that was a little bit of a joke, but they were like, tell me more. And I said, well, here's what I want to do. I want to pick a topic, cybersecurity, which I am not an expert on, but I'm pretty fluent. I said, I want to pick a topic, cybersecurity, And I want you to take everything that I can possibly think of out of my head, and I want you to make a bot, a cybersecurity bot that I can give to my sales team. Well, 11 months on, we got to the point where we could, and I said to the guys hiring these people, I said, I want you to find me, pick a country. They picked Pakistan, great group of people. And I said, here's the qualifications. If they know more than how to turn a smartphone on, they're overqualified. And they looked at me a little crazy. I said, look, I'm looking for someone that doesn't know anything about cybersecurity. So we hired these 5 resources there. We put them to the test. We give them the cybersecurity bot. They start booking appointments. They start talking with literacy is around the topic of cybersecurity, getting through the gatekeeper, trying to get to the IT manager, booking appointments for the sales team. And it was an amazing, just a light goes on in my head around, let me just go back here for a second. The light kind of goes on in my head around, wow, this thing can actually accelerate. Let's try it in one other country. So we picked it up, moved it over to India, and trialed it in India. We picked it up and moved it over to a different country and trialed it. So what we wanted to do was to prove that the AI bot could work in any country, and we could take the one topic and we could actually book more sales for our sales team to go in and see people. 2 weeks ago, I got a call from the sales manager, and she said, I have a problem. And I said, what would that be? And she goes, we cannot do 18 meetings a week. Can I slow the team down? And I said, yes, you may. That's the power of the AI that we're building. Now, we will eventually sell that product to our OEM partners as a service, where we will take our technology and help build those channel sales, those sales funnels for them.
Ralph, you mentioned, and as many of us do know, that Canadian technology companies get lesser valued than especially our friends down south of the border here. Do you have any plans for a U.S. listing and attracting U.S. shareholders?
Yeah, the plans are there. I think we have to scale first. I think you attract more investors, from the US and the larger funds in Canada also. So the plans are there to do that. I think it might be after our second acquisition. Our next acquisition will probably still be in Southeast Asia area, and then we'll look back into North America and/or Europe. And I think around that time frame, we'll probably do look for a listing on in the U.S. markets. But yeah, you need the critical mass to attract people, and I think that 100 million revenue is really the sort of the milestone for us. So we'll see if we can get there in 2 to 3 years, both growing organically and post the next acquisition.
You just mentioned next acquisition, so it sounds like you are an acquisitive company. Can you just obviously can't identify any targets, but just generally, what sorts of things are you looking for in acquisitions? You've just completed this one. I presume there'll be a bit of digestion period before you step to the next one. Could you just lay out a bit of your thoughts around your acquisition strategy?
So just these are great questions coming through, by the way. Look, I've been in discussions with 3 companies for quite some time. What I look for when we look at our acquisition strategy is, do we have a customer base that could take either one or both of our products? Do we have, and let me just go to this slide here as well. So do we have a client base there that might be in technology, buying a product from a particular company, but they're not selling managed services or SD-WAN and all of that? We've identified 3, I have, before I even met Turnium, and had these discussions ongoing. But what we want to be able to do is to actually start looking strategically on there might be a partner out there that could be a great fit for us. And that could give us a real landing pad in a particular area. So if we look in that global map there, Europe, I'd love to be able to have a cornerstone. We've got some cornerstone partners already forming over there to be able to, have we've got Australia, we've got North America. Now let's grab Europe, have a placeholder there, and then start focusing down in South America. Because the products that we sell are relevant no matter what industry, no matter where the customer is. We solve those problems. So our strategy is going to be that we get a true global footprint and we get penetration through complementary businesses that have clients, either OEM partners that have clients, or we have direct customers through acquisitions.
I think we are at an end to the questions here from the audience and from myself. Are there any other comments you want to say or wrap up this conversation and the key points you want to leave with viewers here about Turnium and its path forward?
The last comment that I would like to give, Ralph, and sorry if I jumped in there on you, is if you're a CEO, if you're in a C-level position in an organization, what holds you back from being bold and making decisions where technology might help your business run more effectively, more cost efficiently, is the fear of technology. Don't let that be what holds you back. Don't let well, I don't know if we can do that. If you need to work with a partner that can help you solve the equation, contact us. If you need to speak to me, I will jump on the phone with you. I've done it many times before, and I think that what we'll find is our method of how we approach complex issues is always about understanding the problem. We never come in and try to sell you something. What we try to do is to wrap a solution around whatever problem that you have. So trust us. That's what we're here. We've built a strong business together. It's getting stronger. And we'd love to have you either as an investor or potential customer.
Again, post-closing this acquisition, we're set up nicely to grow organically by cross-selling into each other's customer base. And again, you can see the path from 5 to 10 to 20 to 40 million in revenue over the next few years as that cross-sell takes hold. Secondly, we've doubled in customer base. You look at our next acquisition, it could be 3,000 plus customers that are just buying hardware from one vendor that we can then rinse and repeat and go in there and cross-sell SD-WAN and the cybersecurity suite and get that EBITDA leverage as you're cross-selling the SaaS monthly recurring revenue. We've got a great base of monthly recurring revenue already in our combined businesses. That'll continue to grow as we go out there and execute, and hopefully we'll deliver, and you'll be able to see that coming out of our fiscal Q1, where you'll see that first sort of milestone for us of delivering $1 million a month in revenue, sort of exiting the December quarter.
All right. Well, I think that puts a good perspective on how things are and where they're going. Gentlemen, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us. That's been great. I'm looking forward to having you back and getting updates as to your progress as things move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.